This is now a Studio Triple Two production.
Well, hello. You're hearing my voice. That means I'm Kirk. That means this is still Dumb Test Late. And as you heard from the intro, we are in a new studio. We finally kind of unpacked. We're not fully unpacked. I unpacked the computer and the microphone. That's as far as I made it because I wanted to record an episode. Yeah, we're now a studio. What did I call it? A studio triple two or two triple two. You can remind me later on. Studio triple two. That's where we are. And where we left our hero last time, Cole was trying to figure out a way to defeat the Domo-Komo Monster of the Week, the two-headed, always in conflict with each other, that was created by this cosmic accident that happened in Brazil in the 60s where two electrical engineers caused a cosmic accident, or they were tricked into it. And Cole needs to figure out a way to defeat them, to defeat this Monster of the Week. So with that, let's get into part 2 on how Cole figures out to defeat this Domo-Komo Monster of the Week.
Now time for some interactive fun.
Me and Cole, we're back. We're back to save the day, and we have a two-head monster in our way. Okay. So this is part 2 of my Monster of the Week series with our hero, Cole the Shaman, who's the main protagonist. I always forget. Protagonist, right? That's the hero? Yeah. Saves us from the Monster of the Week. Last episode, hopefully you're listening to these in series, because if you just listen to a random episode, it's going to be confusing. I mean, even if you listen to it in series, it's still confusing, but we're going to get through it. So, last episode, we came up with the Monster of the Week called Domo-Komo. It was from the real life story of, in 1966 in Brazil, the mysterious deaths of, I'm sorry, I forgot their last names. I only wrote down their first names as notes. Miguel and Manuel, who were electronic repairmen or technicians, but they were found mysteriously dead on a hill, and they had these mysterious lead eye masks that had no holes in them. So they were like, of course, unusual and mysterious. The way they died was it's still unsolved and mysterious. It was basically like their heart just stopped. But I transformed that into my fictional story where they caused a cosmic rift and they were blended together as one Monster of the Week. And the example that I chose was this yokai, called Domo-Komo. This Japanese yokai. It's basically, it looks like, on the past episode I put up pictures. It's like one monster with two heads that are facing away from each other, and they're wearing a kimono. So Miguel and Manuel became this two-headed monster, and they're always in conflict with each other, even though they're attached to the bodies. And their conflict with each other causes these huge cosmic problems throughout all the dimensions. And that's why why Cole is here to save us, because all their fighting creates basically like ball lightning. Yeah, ball lightning. That's jumping dimension and causing these big destruction. So Cole has to fix this. And Cole's usual way, if you've been following on with the show, I cannot say that word. I'm not even going to try anymore. That word. But if you're following on this series, Cole is the shaman that basically saves the day. I created this Monster of the Week series. But Cole has powers of like vision and, what you can think of it when you think of a shaman. But Cole usually has to convince the monster or the person that they're being tricked or misled, because a lot of the times the Monster of the Week, the way the backstory I have is these are ancient gods that are coming back and try to create these cosmic rifts to take over the dimensions again. That's how Cole got their powers, through the help of the Mothman and all this stuff. So Cole is the new shaman and the protector. But Cole always tries to, an easy way to say it, non-violently, but tries to make a person see that they're being tricked, they're being misled, and causing, this destruction. The person thinks they're right, but Cole is showing them, because Cole has the power of vision. Cole can show them what they're actually doing is being misled and tricked by these older deities that are, basically stuck in the underworld, that are trying to come back and take over the dimensions, the multiple dimensions. Oh yeah, there's multiple dimensions. If you haven't known that part yet, there's multiple dimensions. But Cole has control over all of them, or most of them. Hint, hint at a future episode. But so this two-headed monster that we created last week, Domo-Komo, I'm now calling either, because it was Miguel and Manuel, the real life mystery, the supernatural mystery that I kind of created this monster of the week off of, to go off of Domo-Komo. I'm calling them either Me and Ma, because of Miguel and Manuel, or Migu and Mano. I don't know. Which one is better? You tell me. Figure out how to tell me in a nice way. So they become this two-headed Domo-Komo monster that can't. Their faces are, the way they're shown, their faces are pointing away from each other. That's why I said they cause conflict. But since Cole has this vision of sight, Cole can see what's going on. Cole sees what's actually causing their conflict and their constant fighting with each other. They keep thinking that each other messed up this ritual, this process back in the 60s in Brazil that caused them to be combined together, because what they were actually doing was trying to open up this dimensional rift and travel to other dimensions. What they don't realize is because they were getting these signals through the TV and all this stuff too. That's kind of the one of the theories, because something similar happened to another person that was similar to them in the field, and like the TV or repair field, or the, I don't want to say black magic, but the occult. Miguel and Manuel were influenced or told these directions because they were found with directions in their pockets to do certain things at certain times. But what they didn't know is that whoever was telling them or giving these directions that led them to that hill, to where these led masks to this cosmic explosion and rift, was an ancient deity. I for these monster of the weeks I've been looking at a lot of older Mesopotamian gods, deities, demons, angels, and all this stuff. So I want to continue that with this new mantra of the week. So the ancient deity that tricked them. I mess up words a lot. I'm going to try to pronounce this. But the actual, it was a demon from Mesopotamia. Mukil Res Lemuti. Mukil Res Lemuti. And I'm going to shorten that to Mukil. Just Mukil. That's the true mantra of the week that's controlling being Ma, Miguel, and Manuel, that are stuck together as this one mantra. And they don't know that because since they're one body and two heads, they can't see behind them. So Mukil is basically like a tick or a leech. That's something that's stuck to their back, that's basically feeding each other misinformation to create the conflict with each other. Because the long game Mukil is trying to do is basically cause enough conflict between them that they cause a huge cosmic rift that will open up a portal from the dimensions. Because Mukil's backstory is they were a demon and they were a servant to a past Mesopotamian god called Bel-Sar-B. So I'm going to go back. When I brought back Cole in this Insecta series to this monster of the week, that was one of the original. I wasn't calling it this. It was from, if you want to go back, from this season 3, episode 14. When I brought back Cole in this Insecta series, it was a doppelganger. It was called You and Yours. I was creating these stories. It was first called You and You, You and Yours, and You and something like that. It became 3. But this is why I came up with the idea to use these older Mesopotamian gods that are trying to trick people or whoever to cause these, these cosmic rifts. And that one, it was a person that was basically destroying each version of themselves in the multiple dimensions to become more powerful. They thought they would become more powerful and they were going to save something, but they were being tricked by this ancient god, Belsabri. Cole had to show them what was happening. They weren't making themselves more powerful and better. They were creating such a huge evil version of themselves by destroying their multiple dimension versions. They were giving power to Belsabri. They were being tricked. They were being misled. Wink, wink, if you can imagine what's going on right now in the real world. And Cole, our hero, showed this person what was going on, and they basically had to sacrifice themselves to end this evil that was growing and basically end the growth of this ancient evil deity Belsabri. So I bring that up because our new actual monster of the week, the tick that's stuck on the back of our two-headed Domo-Komo god that I'm calling Myanmar, Mukil, he was a demon servant for Belsabri. So when Belsabri was defeated, he sent Mukil to kind of do something similar. He basically tricked Manuel and Miguel to form this ritual, which they think they performed wrong and caused this accident, which that's what they blame each other for. They think each other messed it up or did something wrong or didn't follow the instructions, but they did exactly what they were supposed to do. The long game of Mukil serving Belsabri was to create this Domo-Komo, this two-headed monster that will always be in conflict and causing these destructive interdimensional, outer dimensional rifts or whatever that's, inner, outer dimensional. They're causing problems because they're constantly fighting with each other, and they don't realize they have this demon on their back that's feeding them information. Wink, wink to what's actually going on in the world right now. Okay, so Cole being a shaman, but a lot of the way Cole fights these demons and ancient gods, Cole kind of does it by a non-violent way. Cole just doesn't show up and do magic and blow everybody up and do all that stuff. Cole needs to figure out that they have to get this Domo-Komo two-headed monster that's now Myanmar to see each other's side, to realize they're being tricked. But Cole knows that if they fail, it's just going to cause more conflict because they keep fighting each other and it's causing all this damage. So Cole has to figure out a smart way. So this is what I've decided Cole has to do. And I'm titling it Cole Goes Dark. Because like I said previously, Cole does this non-violent things. I'm sorry for calling Cole he. I said previously Cole doesn't have a gender, so I keep misgendering Cole. Cole, they, them, comes up with this idea. Like I said, Cole goes dark. Everyone thinks that Cole, or not everyone, because, hang on, I'm going to confuse myself real quick. Going back real quick. Mukil, the actual monster of the week, that's a tick on the back of the two-headed monster, Myanmar, knows or thinks that Cole can only solve these problems in a non-violent way, right? Because Mukil was brought back up by Belsabri. That's how Cole defeated Belsabri way back episode 14. Go back and listen to that. So Mukil thinks, even though Cole is here to basically fix this two-headed monster that's constantly fighting each other, Mukil thinks that no matter what Cole does, he can still keep causing the conflict between these two heads. And Mukil, the demon, is kind of laughing at Cole. Like I said, Cole has to go dark. So Cole, let's say it's in a weird floating dimension. It's going to look weird. It's going to look all crazy. I'm creating the visual for you right now. So Cole finds a way to approach Myanmar, the two-headed monster. And he kind of explains to them that they're causing this problem, but all it does is lead to them fighting with each other. They keep blaming each other. Say, it's your fault you did this ritual wrong. Your fault you did this ritual wrong. It's causing all this. Basically, bolt lightning flies out at Cole, and Cole just moves it away. Cole is a shaman. Cole is powerful. So Cole is standing in front of both of them. But then Cole, another backstory thing about Cole basically what I called one themselves. They brought all their interdimensional selves together to make themselves this powerful shaman. But they were helped by the Mothman, and they did it for good reasons, so they didn't become evil. Cole basically splits themselves into two and is now talking to each head. But each head doesn't realize that. They just see one version of Cole. They don't realize that Cole is talking to each other separately, and they can't hear what Cole is saying to the other head. Cole tricks them in a way. Cole says to them, I'm going to give you what you want. I'm going to kill. He says to Ma, I'm going to kill me. And he says to me, I'm going to kill Ma. He says, this will make you one entity and you'll still be powerful. You still be this deity that is an interdimensional traveler. And they look like, and he says, I'm gonna do this right now. You don't have to decide on it or anything. I'm gonna do it right now. I'm gonna make you one all powerful deity. And then he snaps his fingers and he basically does that. But what he's doing is basically putting up kind of a fake mirror to each other. And he makes each other think the other side of the head is dead. Me, Miguel, thinks Manuel is dead. And Manuel, looking at me or Miguel, thinks they're dead. And what happens is they realize through all their fighting, through all their conflict, through all their disagreements, is that they don't want to live without each other. Like, because time is not linear. It hasn't been from 1966 to now when the cosmic rift happened and they were melted together. They've spent all this time because they've been jumping through dimensions. They spent all this time together, and once seeing each other dead, seeing the destruction of each other, they realized that that's not what they wanted. They need each other. It reminds me of this independent movie I saw a long time ago called Shut Up Little Man, about these two old guys that are roommates that would constantly argue with each other. And the neighbor ended up recording them. And the movie's called Shut Up Little Man because they would just argue that, like, the one guy would just argue with his roommate, but they lived together forever till one passed. It's like that conflict. You need that conflict between each other. That's their love language, essentially. And they realize that they're codependent on each other. But seeing each other dead kind of sparks each other and they admit that to themselves, essentially, I don't want to live with each other. When they do that, they think they're looking at their dead counterpart. Cole removes the mirror and they realize they're still alive, and they just said that to each other. And that basically takes out the conflict between each other, and they're happy to still see each other alive. And they kind of split some, but they're still attached in some way. They're still not physically attached. Cole does grant them a wish that they're two bodies again, but they're so happy to see each other and that they're codependent. They love each other. They need each other. They never, go away from each other. They still walk as one, even though they're two bodies now. So there's this entity just called M, Miguel and Manuel, instead of being me and Ma or whatever I called it, or the like Domo-Komo that were always in conflict with each other. They're just M. They're two basically deities that are now as one. As they're separate as bodies, they're two separate people again, but they realize that they wanted to be next to each other so much they don't separate. This shows them now who the actual demon was. That separation shows them now that Mukil res Lemuti, what I'm calling Mukil, was this tick demon, this giant tick demon that was stuck on their back. And when they realize that, they turn around and they see Cole holding it like by the neck. And Cole, they realize, and Cole shows them, this is what your conflict was. You had the same enemy. You had the same conflict. But instead of realizing that, you argued with each other. Two people that needed to see that you needed each other. You wanted to be around each other. You loved each other. And so Cole kind of shows them this is what the enemy was. But then they realize that, like I said, they become two deities, but then all is one that are just called M. They're always now in harmony with each other. That's what they go forth to be. And so Cole is standing with them in this realm. And Mukil the demon shows, like, as Cole is holding it, and it shows his true self as this demon, and it's laughing. It says, I'll just come back. I'll just trick them again. You'll see. And the demon says to Cole, this shaman, like, all you can do is pacify. All you do is show people the way you don't have really true powers, and then Cole just snaps his neck, just like that. It kills it. It basically sends it back to the underworld. And that's kind of a callback to like Cole goes dark. Like you thought Cole was dark by killing each side of Myanmar, but like they were still doing their pacifist way, but they actually did go dark in the end. They killed this demon to show that, yeah, I might be a pacifist. I might be too like that. Cole always tries to go nonviolent, but if Cole needs to go violent and kill a demon, Cole will. Cole has powers. Cole is the hero that saves us, and he will snap a demon's neck and send it back to the underworld. So yes, that is how I solved the Domo-Komo with the help of Cole, our shaman monster of the week. Hope you like that one. That's a good story. Like I said previously, I want to do at least 2 episodes per idea. I do love saying monster of the week, even though sometimes it'll take 2 weeks or a month. But yeah, I'm basically set up in my new studio, pt2 Studios. So I'll keep doing this. Hope you did join that one, Domo-Komo or Myanmar, with Cole saving us from their destruction. But yeah, so the next episode, I'm going to do a smaller one. It's not going to be exactly Monster of the Week because, as a preview for the next episode, I'm kind of going to go jump around because remember, time is not linear in this multi-dimensional world that we're in. Because I think Cole needs a companion. Because the way I set Cole up was that the Mothman basically was their guide. But the Mothman was only here temporarily. The Mothman is like an entity made up of other entities, and it came together. The lore of the Mothman is when kind of catastrophic events were happening. A catastrophic event was going to happen because there was an old deity trying to create, another plague on the world, and Cole saved us. But then Cole was alone because the Mothman did its job and left. Cole. The Mothman was the guy. But preview, I think Cole needs a companion. And it's going to, let's say this, the Mothman might come back. And Cole might have to jump through time to retrieve a companion from the path, from the Mothman's kind of realm. So that's the preview for the next episode. Hopefully I'll do that soon because it will kind of be a in-between Monster of the Week. I won't have a Monster of the Week. It'll kind of be a setup, a world setup, or a world setting that I've been doing with this story. But thanks for listening. Tough times in the world. Let's hope that World War III doesn't happen and, nuclear fallout and Holocaust doesn't happen. Because I got to do more episodes of this show. But let's all be happy. Let's all be nice to each other, loving thy neighbors before World War III. Do something nice for yourself. Do something nice for someone else. Forgive yourself, forgive other people, be happy, be good to yourselves, and catch you on the next one, hopefully. Bye-bye.